Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As always, thank you for your support. We greatly appreciate it. And today I'm going to get back to some of my basics. And that's doing the things that I really love. And one of those things is to ride motorcycles around the world. And recently I went on a trip to Thailand and I rode. And it was so much fun. I wanted to share with you some of the observations that I discovered when riding. I rode in two different places in Thailand, and I think three different bikes. It was an incredible trip, and I actually have some footage I'm going to share with you. And away we go. Well, the very first thing to know and to actually respect is the fact that it's left-hand drive. I mean, I cannot tell you how important that is to make a mental note and to do that, to drive on the left-hand side. It was one of the first big lessons for me. And actually, the first couple of days, it wasn't really hard. And it's not really difficult until your mind actually lapses and slacks for a minute. And that's all it takes. Actually, and it's a little bit faster sometimes than the Philippines in a way. My second thing that I notice actually is the roads. They're in much better shape, at least in the least two places that I was. Now I get one of them. This place here in particular is a tourist destination, and I have not ridden in, let's say, Baguio or any place like that in the Philippines, so I can't really compare that. I can just compare it with Cavite, Batangas, and that surrounding area, and the roads here were incredible, just very nice, well kept. And so that's the second thing I noticed, was the roads were nice. The third thing I noticed was the inordinate amount of foreigners driving here and riding here. And their outfit of the day was shorts, flip-flops, and usually no helmet. And I just didn't understand that, and I didn't bother to wonder why. People are going to do what people are going to do. You know, it's the same thing in the Philippines. A lot of people don't ride with helmets, and they think it's okay. I never think it's okay. That's just me. And one of the other things that I noticed too, and you're not going to see it on this tape, it was from the next place that I went and lived or stayed at for a month, is the fact that motorcyclists, or scooters in particular, they have a code of conduct, unlike the Philippines. And what I mean by that is that scooters are expected and demanded, really, that they ride on the shoulder. And not really so much demanded, just expected. You don't see it here because this is actually in-town riding. However, in the last place that I stayed at for a month, I went on the freeway, and their freeway, and it was very fast-paced and seemed a tad dangerous at the time. However, all the scooters rode on the left-hand side, unless you were going to pass and you got on the left-hand side, basically on the shoulder. It was pretty wild. I really liked it. It's just one more safety tip to keep you off of the main road. Now, you're also going to see people using their blinker. I think that's a lot more prevalent here. And I don't know if that's because they're foreigners or they just use their blinker more. I don't really know. There is a ton of rental scooters here. And you see them everywhere. And you see foreigners. And I'll use the word foreigner very loosely because there was people from Russia, from Poland, from Canada, from all over the world on motor scooters here. And like I said, most of them are wearing shorts, flip-flops, and no helmet. A lot more of the locals, I think, wore helmets and long sleeve shirts, like that guy right there. And of course, there's always the Grab in Thailand, getting ready to stop right in front of me. I really enjoyed my drive time there. As one of the things that, obviously several people have made a point to me is the language, the signs. And most of them have an English variation. A lot of them don't, but most do. And also, unlike the Philippines, there's not a ton of people. Yeah, you just saw that foreigner driving on the side of the road, passing a car. However, you don't see a lot of that. At least I didn't in this town. This is Phuket right here. And I'm on my way to the beach. And it was a beautiful day, beautiful weather, and just everything about, oh yeah, there's one of those shops. Everything about that trip and that drive was nice. And mostly the riders, being foreign and local, were courteous. And I'm not saying that Filipino drivers aren't courteous and safe. I'm just saying that maybe because there's less of them, or maybe because there's more foreigners, it's just a whole different vibe and a whole different drive. And you can see by this video, the shape of the road. Again, with the left-hand drive, for me, it made coming up to intersections, it can make it very tricky. And as always, don't drink and drive, or do anything else and drive, because all it takes is one lapse of judgment and you're in the wrong lane. And with that said, I found myself in the wrong lane at least 4 or 5 times. And it was scary when I realized it. And more than one place, I just turned off onto the side of the road to get my bearings, because I didn't want to be on the wrong road. Also, there's a lot of people, a lot more foreigners walking. Again, a beach town, I get it. A lot of people walking. And this is actually getting ready to go into, I wanted to call it a state park or state area. And of course, there's the guy passing on the incoming lane. You'll get that everywhere, clearly. I just don't think you get it as much here. So the 4 or 5 times that I found myself on the wrong side of the road, it was, I don't want to say comical. It was funny though, because the people coming the other way, it was like they'd seen it before. It's like, oh my gosh, another foreigner on the wrong side of the road. And overall, that's, not a big danger, except for the fact, just like in the Philippines, you have trucks, you have fast-moving cars, and you really got to be careful about that. Because in the Philippines, again, several of my friends have said it's all slow moving, and so you can just jump off your bike. Well, on the road to Nik, and on some other roads, there are, lorries, cement trucks. There are big trucks that are coming and going, and you just don't jump off your bike on that kind of a collision. So you need to stay sharp. It's always the ABCs. Always be checking, always be cycling through your safety in your head. Always be checking your mirrors, your what's ahead of you. And night driving was a lot different here than the Philippines. Everybody puts on their light. I didn't see the same issues. However, I didn't go. I stayed, both places that I stayed at were both a lot of foreigners. And here's what I want you to notice too. Look at the parking. No matter where I went, parking was different than in the Philippines. You've arrived at your destination, the beautiful beach. But parking was never people piled on top of people, even though, probably almost all those bikes were rentals. I hope you've enjoyed this little taste of Thailand driving and my observations comparing it to driving in the Philippines. I'll be back with more later. This has been Rich in the Philippines. Have a great day. Be safe. Wear your helmet.